Today, we're going to dive into one of the most practical books of ancient wisdom ever put together, the Book of Proverbs. But we're going to look at it a little differently. Not as a dusty old list of rules, but as a series of really important life lectures from a parent to their child. Let's see what we can dig up. It's a pretty wild question when you think about it, right? We're always looking for the next big thing, the newest life hack. But what if the most powerful guidance has been sitting there the whole time, just waiting for us, for literally thousands of years? Okay, so first things first, we have to get this straight. The beginning of Proverbs isn't just a jumble of random fortune cookie sayings. The first 9 chapters, they're actually a carefully structured series of talks. Think of it as a father and a mother sitting their kid down to teach them how to navigate the world and build a solid character. Now, one of the most powerful of these talks gets to the absolute core of what wisdom is. And honestly, it's kind of the opposite of what you might think. It's not about being the smartest person in the room. The central idea is this thing called the fear of the Lord. Now, hold on. This isn't about being scared of God. Not at all. It's about a deep sense of dependence. It's about humility, admitting that maybe, just maybe, we don't get to be the ultimate judge of what's good and evil for ourselves.
And this comparison just lays it all out so clearly. On one side, you've got the temptation to lean on your own understanding. That's that natural human desire for total control, right? The freedom to do whatever you want. But Proverbs warns that this path, well, it ends in disaster. On the other side, trusting the Lord means accepting that there's a design to life, a proven path that leads not to being trapped, but to real direction and real security.
This quote from Proverbs 3 just hits the nail on the head. It's a direct command to be humble. It's a warning against that arrogance of thinking we always know best. Instead, it pushes us to trust in a wisdom that's way bigger than our own. So, you might be asking, okay, what's in it for me? Well, the Proverbs do promise some benefits. But look, this isn't some simple formula where if you're wise, you'll never get sick or be poor. It's more about orienting your entire life toward well-being. It gives you a roadmap for health, principles for creating wealth, and it even reframes hard times as a kind of correction, like God helping you get back on the right path. It's about valuing character even more than comfort.
So, how do we take this big idea and actually apply it to our everyday lives? Well, the next set of principles is all about that, how living with integrity is the foundation for building a life that's genuinely secure and full of dignity, even today.
I mean, we all want security, don't we? There's this perfect picture of it in the old Charlie Brown cartoons. You know Linus, always clutching his security blanket? In one comic, he's yanking his blanket out from under a picnic basket and just yells, "The struggle for security is no picnic." And you know what? We can all relate to that deep need to feel safe.
So how do we find that security? Proverbs lays out these 4 incredibly simple rules. Be generous and help people right away when you can. Don't scheme and plot behind people's backs for your own gain. Don't start arguments for no good reason. And don't be jealous of people who seem to be getting ahead by cheating the system. They sound so basic, but just think, most of the problems in our lives come from breaking one of these 4 things.
And the outcome of living by these simple rules, it's huge. Instead of a life that's full of shame and regret, you build a life of blessing, grace, and real earned honor.
This brings us to a really key point about how all this wisdom keeps going. It's not something every person has to figure out from scratch. It's a legacy. It's passed down generation to generation, and it happens mostly right in the family. The author of our source material, Dr. Konkel, he shares this really powerful story about it. He says the most important education he ever got was from his parents. He learned what it meant to be a man of his word just by watching his dad, Harold. If his dad promised something, he did it, period. That real-life example of integrity, it was way more powerful than any lesson in a classroom. So that's the whole point right there. Wisdom is both taught, through direct instruction, but it's also caught. You absorb it by watching the character of your parents and your elders. We learn what's truly important by seeing how the people we look up to actually live their lives. And this whole idea of learning at home was just baked into the culture of ancient Israel. There's this phrase from the book of Isaiah, tzav to tav, which probably refers to a parent teaching their kid the Hebrew alphabet, just one letter at a time. It goes to show that the most basic fundamental education, reading, values, wisdom, it all started right there in the home. And all of this, all the teaching from parents, all the rules for a good life, it all leads to this final personal battleground. It comes down to a single choice that you have to make every single day, and it all happens right inside your own head. Proverbs describes this choice like you're standing at two paths. The path of wisdom is the path of light. And the cool thing is, the further you walk down it, the brighter and clearer it gets. But it takes focus. The other one is the path of darkness. It's the easy, wide-open road. It's the constant pull of society telling you to do things its way. It's so easy to just drift onto it, but you end up stumbling around and you don't even know what you're tripping over.
And this is the absolute climax of all the parents' teaching. This one verse from Proverbs is the big takeaway. Your mind is the source, the wellspring of your entire life. Every single thing you do, every decision you make, it all flows from what you let take root in your thoughts.
It's a pretty intense idea when you put it that simply, isn't it? You aren't what you wish you were. You are what you think. Think about it for a second. An act like adultery doesn't just happen out of nowhere. It starts way, way earlier as a thought, as a desire that you entertain in your mind.
And that leaves us with a really challenging final question to think about. If the stuff inside our minds truly defines who we are, it kind of forces us to look in the mirror and ask a tough question. Based on my thoughts, who am I really?